Right, so let's get started. Let's go to the first slide. Let's clear some things up. For those who are doing AdMaths, it has certain topics you need to know really, really, really good. Anybody who is stepping into an AdMaths class, there is a general assumption by the teacher. The teacher will assume that you know these 4 topics inside out. Like if they were, and the 4 topics are simultaneous equations, solving, sketching, and interpreting quadratic graphs, expanding brackets quickly, and solving quadratic simultaneous equations. Now, I know that's a lot to take in. So we're going to do one each week. I guarantee you, if you walk into an AdMaths class in September and you don't know these 4 topics, your teacher is going to have a really, really hard time teaching you. In fact, in most cases, the teacher is just going to assume you know these 4 topics, and the teacher is just going to start the AdMaths syllabus with most likely without redoing these 4 topics. So my aim for the summer is to clear up these 4 topics. So when you join any AdMaths class, whether it's mine, whether it's a teacher one or somebody else one, you're going to hit the ground running. So let's start our story, and today we'll be doing simultaneous equations in case that wasn't clear as daylight. So let's start, right?
Our story begins with a young man named Jibby Sanchez, who had just turned 18. Once surrounded by family, the cruel grip of the COVID pandemic tore them away, leaving him utterly alone. With nowhere to turn, Jibby's life unraveled, and he found himself cast onto the streets, clinging to survival as the world moved on without him.
Right, so that's our protagonist of the story there, Jibby Sanchez. He's to the left of the screen. I guess life isn't going too good for him right now.
At night, Jibby curls up behind a dumpster, the cold concrete his only comfort. He whispers goodnight to his sister's ghost, though he no longer knows if she's truly there or if his mind has finally begun to slip. She tells him not to give up, that second chances come like a whisper, soft, fleeting, and only those who truly listen will catch them before they vanish.
Right, so that's his sister there, his ghost of his sister, but the story makes it unclear if she's a real ghost or if Jibby is going crazy, okay? Right, so let's see what happens in this dumpster. It just so happened there's a wishing star. If you look to the top of the screen, you will see a wishing star, and the wishing star crashes down to earth behind the dumpster, and it reveals a magic book. So we'll see what happens in the next scene. Okay? Hopefully this will bring some luck to Jibby's life. So let's start off with simultaneous equations. Now, in this class, the majority of students are going to be persons going into Form 4 or going into Form 5. And they're going to have one or two students who are going into Form 3 who are invited. In case you don't know what a simultaneous equation is, a simultaneous equations is a pair of equations. You're always given 2 equations. And you can have any letters in it, but for my beginners questions, the 2 letters are X and Y. And the aim of the question is to solve not only for X, but to also solve for Y. So at the end of the day, you have to figure out what the value of X is and what the value of Y is. Now, it takes a lot of practice. And another thing, I know some of you all are going to ask this question, so let me get it out of the way one time. There are about 4 different methods of solving a simultaneous equation. 4, but for AdMaths, take my advice. The only method that I want you to remember is the substitution method. I know some of you are rolling your eyes and in your head there, because substitution is one of the harder methods. And you're probably wondering, but why am I showing you the hardest method? It's because the hardest method is the most useful one. It has plenty advantages over all the other methods. So most people will not catch simultaneous equations, the substitution method on the first rounds. But don't worry, I have like 10 examples to do today. So by the end of class, everyone will catch it. Let's do everything neatly. Turn to a brand new page in your book and write this for me. I'm circling exactly what to write in green. Write these two equations. Call the first equation 1 and the second equation 2. Because you are always given two equations, and it's very, very important to name your equations. And the most obvious name for two equations is equation 1 and equation 2. Write it neatly, and we're going to move on to the next step. Take a few seconds, write it. Now, I have to make the assumption that you know a little bit of algebra, like how to make X the subject or how to make Y the subject. Since there are two equations, equation 1 and equation 2, you can only deal with one equation at a time, right? It doesn't matter if you start to deal with equation 1 first or if you start to deal with equation 2 first. A lot of people don't know that. But we want to keep things simple in class. In this class, when we're given two equations, according to this piece of instructions here, we are always going to choose which equation first. Equation 1, that's this guy here. And you notice it have two letters, right? X and Y. Since there are two letters in equation 1, it doesn't matter if we make X the subject or Y the subject. You're going to get the same answer, believe me. But to make things simple in this class and streamline everything, we are always going to make which letter the subject in equation 1, the subject, X, always, 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 always. That way, me and you always have the same working. So I want everyone to take down these instructions now. Choose equation 1 and make X the subject, and simplify as much as you can and call it equation 3. Take down the instructions. You don't have to understand it. Just take it down. I will obviously do that instructions just now, right? In a little while. Right, so while you all are doing that, in this little red box here, since I'm choosing equation 1, I'm going to write equation 1 here. I'm not changing anything, writing back the same exact equation 1. 4x plus 6y is equal to 40. Right. Now, this is the part I have to make the assumption that you know a little bit of algebra. Like in maths, when you throw something across, it becomes the opposite. A positive will become a negative, a multiply will become a divide. Even if you're not too familiar, by watching me do enough examples, you will see a pattern, okay? So according to this instructions here, we have to make who the subject? Mr. X. So I put a little dot over Mr. X here, so we can focus on Mr. X. What do we mean by make X the subject? Making X the subject means you want X on one side alone by himself and everyone else on the other side of the equal sign. So let's do that, right? We only want Mr. X on this side of the equal sign. So this positive 6y, you see the person who is separated from the x, and notice this 6y is not connected to this x. Throw across Mr. 6y on the other side. Now he's positive 6y. In maths, when you throw somebody across, it always becomes the opposite. So if you throw across positive 6y, you will get minus 6y. Everyone take down up to them. Please write it. You see how I draw the arrow on everything? You write it exactly like how I have it. So I'm just going to keep reminding everybody, when you throw something across in maths, it becomes the opposite. So if you throw across positive 6y, the opposite of a positive is a negative. Now, some people might try to minus the 6y from the 40. From basic algebra, if two things have different letters, you cannot add or subtract them. You have to leave it like that. So 40 minus 6y is just 40 minus 6y. Don't ever make the mistake and say it's 34 minus 34y, right? And of course, if you're having problems with algebra, please make sure and come the Saturday class, the Saturday maths class, even though it's a Form 1, 2, and 3 class, come, you will learn algebra clean, inside out. So this is what we have so far, guys. We have 4x is equal to 40 minus 6y. But x is not the subject as yet. We want to make who the subject? X. We want x on one side and everyone else on the other side, which means we need to get rid of Mr. 4. Now, here's how it's always going to be. You notice this 4 is right next to the x. It's almost like he's hugging up Mr. X. Whenever you have a value touching a letter, there's always a secret multiplying between them. So this is really 4 multiplied by x. But no seeing examiner is going to put in that multiply sign for you. That is understood. So here's what. We have to throw across Mr. 4. Now, whenever you have a multiply, it becomes the opposite when we throw it across. Now, we notice it have two things waiting here. It have a 40 and a 6y. When you throw across the 4, which is a multiply, the opposite of a multiply is a divide. Both items separately get divided by positive 4. Now, here's the thing. I know I told you when you throw something across, it becomes the opposite. I know this 4 is really positive 4. So some people will be asking, but sir, if you tell me when you throw something across, it has become the opposite. I understand that when you throw across a multiply, the opposite of a multiply is a divide. So we divide both of them by 4. But why do we change it to a, why didn't we change it to minus 4? That's just the rule of maths. Whenever you throw across a multiply, you get a divide, but the original sign just doesn't change. You just have to live with that rule. So when it goes across on the other side and becomes a divide, it remains positive 4. All right? If it was negative 4 on this side, it would remain negative 4 on the other side for the divide. Take down up to there. Take down up to there. Right. Now you're going to need your calculator here a little bit, right? To finish this, well, to simplify this scenario. You notice we should not leave it as 40 divided by 4 or 6y divided by 4. And we have a calculator to simplify it. Everyone take 40. Well, I can do this in my head. 40 divided by 4 is 10 minus 6 divided by 4, if you don't trust me on your calculator, is 1.5. And please don't forget to put back Mr. Y. We have just created which equation? Equation 3. So just to recap, in our simultaneous equations, you're given two equations. That's at the top of the screen. You label it 1 and 2 out of respect for the examiner and respect for yourself, so you can keep track. In this class, we always choose which equation? Equation 1, and we're always going to try our best to make x the subject. And when we do that, we call it equation 3, which is what we did in the little rectangle here. When you finish, take down the next step in blue underneath. We are going to substitute equation 3 into equation 2. Just take down the instructions and I will, break it down a little more for you guys. Take a half a minute to take down the instructions in blue. So I just want to explain what this statement means. Now, let me just circle it. x equal to 10 minus 1.5y. Let me explain what an equal sign means. Right? And it seems like a real silly thing I'm going to try to explain, but a lot of people don't understand what the equal sign actually means. Huh? X equal to 10 minus 1.5y means x has the same value as 10 minus 1.5y. The x looks completely different to 10 minus 1.5y. So which brings up the question, can two things look completely different but have the same value? And the answer is yes. I'll give you the most easiest example to think about. A paper $1 and 4.25 cents. And 4.25 cents is the same thing as $1. They look different, but don't they have the same value? And couldn't I exchange it? Like if you had a $1 in your hand and I steal the $1 from your hand and I put 4.25 cents in its place. Technically, I didn't rob you, right? Because I'm allowed to replace $1 with 4.25 cents, even though it looks different. So here's what we're going to do now. The instruction says we must take equation 3, which is your green equation here, and we're going to visit equation 2. Let's visit Mr. Equation 2 up here. You always visit equation 2. Equation 2 is 5x plus 3y is equal to 41. You notice it has an x here? X equal to 10 minus 1.5y means we could go to equation 2 and anywhere we see a letter x, we could throw it away and replace it with 10 minus 1.5y. Just like how I could take $1 and replace it with 4.25 cents. But I kind of set up everything here already. I kind of write back, look over here. I write back equation 2, but it looks a little bit different, and I'll explain why it looks a little bit different just now. In maths, and your teacher is supposed to stress on it, and he or she will, whenever you replace something in maths, you have to put it in brackets. You just can't throw it in. So look at it carefully. You have 5 and x. I'm going to throw away this x, and in brackets, I'm going to put 10 minus 1.5y. 10 minus 1.5y. You notice in the brackets, x used to live there. X is no longer there. Everyone take down over here. This is equation 2 with equation 3 living in it now. We substituted x. We replaced the x with the equivalent value of equation 3. And guys, don't get scared about this. I know some of you haven't done this in a long time, but I have multiple examples. So if you didn't catch it the first time, if you didn't catch it the second time, by the third time, you go catch it, right? Don't worry. Great. Now take down the next instructions. Expand the brackets and solve for y, right? Expand. In maths, whenever you see brackets, try not to work with brackets. You have to expand the brackets or get rid of the brackets. And in case you didn't know, everyone inside this brackets gets multiplied by the value just outside the brackets. So we have to multiply everyone inside here by positive 5. So get your calculators ready, okay? Right? Once again, for those, I realize some people now join. If you're weak in algebra, right? Make sure and come this Saturday maths class, and we're going to be spending the whole summer toughening up everyone's algebra, right? Let's start multiplying. 5 by 10 is what? 50. 5 by 1.5 is 7.5. Don't forget to put back the letter y. And then we write back what? Positive 3y is equal to 41. In case some of you have missed that, I multiplied out the brackets because I wanted to get rid of it. So everyone in the brackets got multiplied by 5. And then you write back everyone else as normal. You notice your equation only has the letter y. So now you can solve for the letter y, which means, well, what does it mean to solve for a letter? It means you want that particular letter on one side of the equal sign, usually the left-hand side, and everyone else on the other side. So let's begin to solve for y. You have, keep everything with y on the left-hand side. So I have minus 7.5y. I have positive 3y here. This positive 50, throw him across. When you throw across positive 50, won't you get minus 50? We're keeping everything with y on the left-hand side and everything without y on the right-hand side, right? Make sure when you throw things across, it becomes the opposite. Positive becomes negative, unless you're throwing across a multiply. Everyone take down up to there. We're about 70% finished with the question. Don't worry, don't worry. Let's simplify. You think you all could add this up on the calculator for me? No, you can't forget the minus sign. I have to make the assumption you could use the negative sign on your calculator. Different calculators have different, you need the negative sign in different positions. Some people could just push the normal minus sign, right? Minus 7.5 plus 3y is minus 4.5y. And 41 minus 50, 41 minus 50 is minus 9. Take down up to there. I simplified both on my calculator. It is a matter of typing it on your calculator. Minus 7.5 plus 3y is minus 4.5y, right? And 41 minus 50 is minus 9. We're almost finished, but at least for y. Remember, we want to solve for y. We want to get a value for y, which means we need y on one side and everyone else on the other side. So this minus 4.5 is right next to the y. Remember how I described it? Whenever you have a number touching a letter, it's like he's hugging up the letter. And he will always have a secret multiply. In maths, when you throw across a multiply, what do you get again? We saw it earlier here. You get a divide, but the sign does not change. So if it's minus 4.5 on this side, when it becomes a divide, it will still be negative, but at least it will be a divide. Finish off the question here. Well, I can do this one for you. 9 divided by 4.5 is 2. When you divide 2 minus sign in maths, you get a positive. You don't have to put the positive because in maths, when you don't put a positive sign, it is automatically positive. We're almost finished with the question. Take down up to there. We just solved for y. Remember, the aim of a simultaneous equation is to solve for y and to solve for x. Don't worry, to solve for x isn't going to be too difficult, but at least we know the value of y. If somebody now comes to class and say, hey, what was the value of y for this question? You could say, hey, y was equal to 2. Take down the last piece of instructions here in purple. You see, when you get your first answer, and we just got our first answer, y is equal to 2, you always run back to equation 3. Take my advice. Do not run back to equation 1 or 2. Always run back to equation 3. Right. So when we run back to equation 3, that's the green equation here, right? And I know I'm running out of space, but there's clearing some space over here. Sorry about the little clutter, but you write it underneath. Equation 3 is x, all right, to mark the same thing in green, is equal to 10 minus 1.5y. So all we have to do is replace the letter Y with 2 because Y is the same exact thing as 2. But in maths, when you replace something and you just put it in brackets, so I went back to equation 3 and I throw away Mr. Y and I replaced him with our answer because we just found out Y is equal to 2. Take down up to there, and we're almost finished. Sorry for the little squeeze here, but I should have write a little bit smaller. Right. So let's simplify this. You can't minus the 1.5 from the 10. You have to never bod mass. You have to do the multiplication first. This 2 is hugging up the 1.5. The two of them next to each other. So you have to multiply that first. I guarantee you, if you take 1.5 and multiply it by 2, you will get 3. How much is 10 minus 3? 7. We're finished with the entire question. So if somebody were to walk into class now and say, hey, what's the value of X and Y? You say X is 7 and Y is 2, and you finish the question. And by the way, this is how they just write the answer, the final answer. They just normally put it in brackets like this. You don't have to. Remember, they just put it like a coordinate. Remember in our coordinate from Monday class, the X's come first and the Y's come second. So the X answer is 7 and the Y answer is 2. Okay? I know for people who haven't done this in a long time or probably never did it in school, I know this could be a lot to take in. But give me a chance to do some more examples. The only thing I won't be able to cover is basic algebra, but I'll try my best when I'm talking to kind of guide you with the algebra, right? But make sure I come this Saturday class, right? Oh, let's continue the story. I think you all deserve a little headway. So remember, the wishing star crashed down to Earth, and a magical book appeared.
Gibby stares in awe as the book materializes before him, glowing faintly in the dark. But he's at the end of his rope, too tired, too broken to question it. With a trembling breath, he closes his eyes and makes a wish. In an instant, a strange force wraps around him, and before he can cry out, he's yanked into the book, swallowed whole by its mysterious power.
All right, so it seems the book is a magical book. Obviously, it came from a wishing star, right? And it pulls him into the book, right? That's him there being pulled into the book.
Gibby is hurled out of the book, landing hard on unfamiliar ground. Around him, chaos erupts, horses thunder past, and the air rings with the panicked shouts of soldiers. Confusion and fear grip him as the world spins wildly out of control.
Right, so book pushes him out to the pages of the book, and he ends up in some strange world. Fully armored already. All right, and one of the horsemen is a strange group of horsemen saying it's coming, turn back to the castle. Anybody wants to take a guess of what they might be running from? I'm always open to hearing what you guys think, right? Right. All right. So here's what you guys are going to do for me. I'm not asking for you all to get it 100% correct. All I'm asking you guys to do is take a 5 minutes head start with this new question. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to get it wrong. But without trying, you're not going to make any headway. So 5 minutes, guys. Take down equation 1 and 2. Follow the same instructions I gave you and see how much headway you can make. But you have to promise me you will try. Just don't sit back and say, oh God, this is too hard. Try, right? 5 minutes, okay, guys? And of course, if you're able to work it through in 5 minutes and get your answers, send it on the chat now. I'll be happy to look at it. Start. So according to my instructions, you always choose equation 1 first. So let me write back equation 1. I'm not going to change a single thing about equation 1, right? 2x plus 4y is equal to 26. I didn't change a single thing about equation 1. We said, well, not we, I said, let's make x the subject. So we want x on one side, and everyone else on the other side. So in the last example, we grabbed this item here, the person who was not connected to the x. Usually you always throw them across first. Now this is positive 4y. So when you throw it across, you get minus 4y. So you end up with 2x is equal to 26 minus 4y. And for those who don't remember, because the 4 has a y and the 26 does not have a y, you cannot subtract. You cannot subtract them to get 22. You have to leave it as two separate items. And of course, we will clear that up in the Saturday maths class, right? When you all finally come, right? I'll reinforce that. But x is not the subject as yet. We need to get x alone on one side. So that Mr. 2 is a problem. This 2 is a multiply because he's hugging up the x and he's really positive 2. So when you throw across a multiply, remember I told you all, you have two items waiting on this side. Both of them individually get divided by Mr. 2. Both of them. And let's simplify this. 26 divided by 2 is 13, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So equation 3 is x equal to 13 minus 2y. Look for your mistakes, right? Make sure you have everything exact. I suspect some people forgot to change it to a minus sign here when you throw across the positive 4y. The most I will be able to do at this point is to say, hey, I showed you my working. Look for your mistakes and see if you can rectify it. Take it from there, guys. Do the next step now. Substitute equation 3, which is your yellow equation, into equation 2. And remember, when you replace it, right? You're replacing it in brackets. I kind of set you up over here already, right? I kind of did piece for you upstairs here. Okay? Track. So we're running back to equation 2. I notice you have an x here. We're going to replace the x with 13 minus 2y, but in brackets. So you have a minus 3 here. Over here is 13 minus 2y. And you notice x used to live here. Plus y is equal to minus 4. Now, here's what a lot of people don't know. In case you don't know, y, you notice the y doesn't have a number in front of it. Usually when you have a letter, it does have a number in front of it, like 2x or 4y. If you just have the letter y by itself, y is the same thing as 1y. It's understood, right? So if you want to put in the 1 in front of the y to make things easier on your eyes, you can. Let's multiply out the brackets, guys. Everyone inside this brackets gets multiplied by who? Not just 3, but minus 3. Now, if you're not familiar with positive and negative signs, like I said, Saturday class, we'll clear that up. Minus 3 multiplied by positive 13 is minus 39. When you multiply a minus and a positive, you get a minus. And minus 3 multiplied by minus 2y is positive 6y. When you multiply 2 minus, you get a positive. So I just multiplied everyone in the brackets by minus 3. And now I have to write back everyone else as normal. Positive 1y is equal to minus 4. If you didn't get the signs correct when you multiplied out the brackets, take down my correct answer and continue the question. I'll give you a minute to correct your mistakes and see if you could finish the entire question. Good luck. Let's keep all the y's on one side. Who doesn't have a y? We throw it across on the other side. So minus 39, throw him across. You're going to get positive 39. So I kind of throw across the 39. Let's add up all the y's. This one is easy. 6y plus 1y is 7y. You can put the positive sign if you wish, but the positive sign is understood. Minus 4 plus 39. I guarantee if you're typing that on your calculator, you will get positive 35. A real sure. Minus 4 plus 39 is 35. Let's solve for y now. Remember, we want to get y alone on one side. This 7 is hugging up the y. So when you throw across a multiply, you get a divide, but the sign does not change. Obviously, if I don't put the positive sign here, the positive is understood. And the answer is 5, because we all know 35 divided by 7 is 5. Now, we're not finished with the question. I mean, we mostly finished. But remember, we still have to solve for x. We only solved for y. And according to the last piece of instructions, the kind of purple pinky instructions there, you have to run back to equation 3. So let's do that, guys. Let's run back to equation 3 here. Look, equation 3 here. Equation 3 is x is equal to 13 minus 2. But don't we have the value of y now? We now know y is what? 5. So we could throw away y, and in brackets, because when you're replacing something in maths, you have to put it in brackets. You replace it with what we have, which is 5. Let's work this out. Please do not minus the 13 and the 2. You have to multiply the 2 by the 5 first. Now, 2 by 5 is obviously what? Is 10, right? 2 multiplied by 5 is 10. How much is 13 minus 10? 3. We're finished with the question. Write your answers like this. 3, 5. The first one is always the x answer. The second one is the y answer. Once again, we run back to equation 3. We replace the y with the answer we just got. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. 13 minus 10 is 3. We are finished. How many people, you can show by the raise of hands now, right? Got it correct without my help. Or eventually got it out before I worked it out. Let me just call it that. You were able to get those 2 answers before I finished, even if I helped you a little bit, right? And if you didn't, don't feel too bad. This is only the second example, right? Right? Only the second example. It has taken multiple examples to get this out. The next slide. Yeah. Here we have a question with decimals. So let me help you a little bit. You're going to take down this, right? Now, here's what you need to know. Don't let the 0.5 get to you. He's hugging up the x. So when you throw across somebody who's hugging up somebody, doesn't it change to a divide? It's perfectly okay to divide by a decimal. It's just you're not accustomed dividing by a decimal, but you have fancy calculators. If you have to divide by a decimal, just type it in on the calculator and the calculator will do all the hard work for you. Also, you notice equation 2. It have minus x plus y, but it have no values touching the x and y. It's a good idea to put in the ones. So minus x is the same thing as minus 1x. Y is the same thing as 1y. Put in the number ones. It makes it easier on your eyes. Get started, guys. Don't let the decimal freak you out, because in AdMaths, you're going to get plenty decimals. Take a 5 minutes head start. Good luck. The question. So according to the instructions, we always choose equation 1. Writing back equation 1, not changing a single thing about it. We have to make X the subject. So I said, well, we'll always draw across the person who's not touching the X, who's separated from the X, which is the positive 7y. And when you draw across a positive, you get a minus. You cannot minus the 8 and the 7. We went through y already. The next step now is to solve for X. So this is what we have so far. 0.5x is equal to 8 minus 7y. We have to get rid of this 0.5. Who is hugging up the x? He's positive 0.5, and he's a secret multiply. Anybody touching a value is a secret multiply. Now, when you throw across a multiply, you are going to get what? A divide. Both of them are going to get divided by 0.5 individually. And this is where your calculator is going to come in, right? If you take 8, press 8, you'll press the 8 first, huh? 8 divided by 0.5, you're going to get 16. And 7 divided by 0.5 is 14. And don't forget to put back the minus and the y. How much people had that for equation 3? 16 minus 14y. A lot of people had it, right? My chat is just filling up and people raising their hands and blah, 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 right? Great. So you're on your way there, right? So now follow the next instructions. You have equation 3, visit equation 2. I kind of laid it out for you here already. And replace x in brackets with 16 minus 14y, right? By the way, just letting you know, remember how I put the 1 over here, the minus 1x. I should probably put it here for you, right? The bracket is where x used to live, and y is the same thing as 1y. So put it in now, put in the 1. It makes it much easier on your eyes. Take a couple minutes and see if you can finish off the question and send your final answer. The 16, remember, the 16 minus 14y. We're replacing this, right? So it's 16 minus 14y. X used to live there. Let's take our time. Minus 1 multiplied by positive 16 is minus 16. And minus 1 multiplied by minus 14, when you multiply 2 minus, you will get a positive. And then we write back the positive 1y is equal to minus 6. So I hope you all had the signs correct, right? Okay. If you don't have a minus sign here and a positive here by the 14, you're going to get the entire question wrong, huh? Right? So we need to keep all the y's on this side. Everyone without a y, like the minus 16, he belongs on the other side. He is a reject. He's rejected from that side. Let's start simplifying. Well, 14y plus 1y is obviously 15y. Nothing amazing there. Minus 16 plus 16, I guarantee you, is positive 10. You could try it on your calculator, right? And we still have to solve for y. Now remember, this 15 is hugging up the y. So when we throw him across, we all know what happened will happen to the 15. He's a secret multiply, so he goes across and becomes what? A divide. How much is 10 divided by 15? Oh no, we got what? Okay, I'm glad we did a question like this. How much people got a 0.66666666666 when they got the 10 divided by the 15? And I have to tell you something about fractions, right? I have to tell you something about fractions here. Remember, 10 divided by 15 is 0.66666. It goes on, right? So I know some of you are going to round it off to 0.67. But take my advice, and your teacher will advise you too. You see, when you have a recurring decimal in maths, try your best not to put the recurring decimal. Put the fraction. The fractions is what? 2/3. I'm not saying 0.66 is wrong, or 0.67 is wrong. but examiners tend to kind of scorn it. I just scorn it myself when I see it. Because when you put a reoccurring decimal, it comes like you have a better option. The 0.66 is not as accurate as the 2/3. So why are you putting the 0.66? Put the 2/3, right? Just take my advice to try not to think on it too much. But everyone, if you have 0.66, scratch it off. I want you to put 2/3 because 10 divided by 15 is 2/3. Just take my advice. You won't regret it. Okay. Right, I see people are updating. Great. So we have our first answer for y. We have to run back to which equation now? Equation 3. So I'm going to clear some space here. I know we're running out of space. Yes, sir. Let me just make some space. I remember you have a big book on that side, so you all have how much space. I only have one screen. So I just clearing a little space in white. Oops, sorry. Clearing a little space in white here so we could focus on it. Right. Because we have that fraction to deal with now. So according to this, we're running back to equation 3, right? Equation 3, I just writing it back here, is equal to 16 minus 14y. We're supposed to replace the y with how much? 2/3. So it's 14, and in brackets is what? 2/3. Now you have to use your calculator here. Now, I won't be able to show you how to use the fractions button on your calculator. I didn't prepare for that. Plus, everybody have a different type of calculator. So my advice is this, right? If you have a calculator and you don't know how to use the fractions button, make sure and Google it, right? It's really easy to find. Let's Google let's call it oh God, again, a brain freeze here. The model number of the calculator and type in how to use fractions, and it will show you how to use it. But let's work out this question here. We're supposed to take the 14 and multiply by the 2/3 first. I'm going to use my calculator to do that. 2/3 multiplied by 14 is minus 9 and 1/3. Once again, my calculator did the multiplication using the fractions button. I typed in 2/3 using my fractions button on the calculator, and I multiply by 14, and I get 9 and 1/3. Now, using my calculator, I could say 16 minus 9 and 1/3 straight on my calculator, and you'll get 6 and 2/3. We are finished with the entire question. I'll write back my final answer up here. 6 and 2/3, comma, 2/3. The first one is the answer for x. The second one is the answer for y, right? So I think some of you all have some research to do, right? The model number of your calculator, go on Google and just say how to use the fractions button, and you'll find 1,000,001 tutorials, okay? In most calculators, the sharp calculators, you will see a button like this. Look in the upper right-hand corner. You will see an ABC button like this. Somewhere on your calculator, that's your fractions button. And some calculators like the Casio have an x divided by y button. That's your fractions button. But it takes a little practice to use the button. I guarantee you learn to use that button, save you a lot of time in the exam. Okay, guys, so look for your mistakes. I'm going to give you 1 minute to take down anything you need to take down, and then we move it on to the next slide. See what's going on with Mr. Jimmy there. Right, remember the soldiers and the horse were running away from something, and I had asked you all to guess what it was, right? That's what they were running away from. A dragon, a red dragon, was chasing them, right? And for those who stick around, right, remember this is like a series. There's actually an episode that explains where the red dragon comes from, the origins of the red dragon, right? All right. Right, and it's not just a regular dragon. Dragon also shoots fire. All right. If things weren't bad enough for Jimmy, from a dumpster into a dragon battle. All right. So all right. So this question again, I brought back some decimals, but here's the thing. In maths, it doesn't have to be X and Y. It could be any two letters. It could be A and B. Today, I put S and U. I want you to choose equation 1 and read my instructions. You're going to make which letter the subject? U. Give it a try. I know it looks intimidating. Like I said, I don't even care if you get it wrong. I just care about the attempt. Good luck. 5 minutes. Send answers across if you can. Okay? Real life, I'm a person who talks a lot. All right? Pray that you're never next to me on a bus or something. You'll probably throw me out the window as I can't stop talking. All right. So let's write back equation 1, right? 24s plus 10u is equal to minus 6. That's equation 1. Now, I said to make u the subject, right? In the examiner is not going to tell you which one to make the subject. But the truth is, if you make S the subject or U the subject, you're going to get the same answer at the end of the day, right? But this is trading wheel. So we're going to make the letter U the subject. Now, who do we throw across first? If we're concentrating on making U the subject, the person who not connected to you is who we throw across first. I think you all remember me saying that. So that means the 24s needs to be thrown across first. Positive, and he's positive 24. You get minus 24s. Right? So this is what we have so far. Positive 10u is equal to minus 6 minus 24s. We still need to get rid of Mr. 10. 10 is hugging up the u, right? He's being multiplied by u. And I think we know what's going to happen now. Everybody here, it's going to get divided by positive 10. I don't need to write the positive because the positive is understood. But if you want to write positive 10 to be super accurate, knock yourself out, right? So what we end up with here is this. U, oh good, 6. Oh, we divided by 10. So we're going to get some real nice decimals. 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. And a minus divided by a positive is a minus. 24 divided by 10 is 2.4. Don't forget to put back letter S. And a minus divided by a positive is a minus. How much of you all had that? Sign for sign, number for number, for equation 3. You can't have one single thing wrong about it, huh? You can't. Right. Great. Right. So I'm going to just help you with the next step. And so we said we're going to substitute 3 into equation 2. So let's run back to equation 2 here. Now, I didn't fill out that piece for equation 2. You kind of had to do that on your own. Equation 2, I'm going to write it here. 8s, I'm going to leave a big space here for obvious reasons. 5u is equal to minus 4.5, right? I write back the same exact thing over here. Oh, so I put it in the wrong place. Sorry. No, let's give my chance. So plus how much? 5u. Sorry. I think that is it there. 8s plus 5u is minus 4.5. What we want to do, you see this letter u here? I'm going to erase it. Erase the letter u. And in brackets, I'm going to replace it with what we just got. Minus 0.6 minus 2.4s. Everyone take down up to there. Because we're replacing the letter U with what we just got in equation 3. And it's common practice. When you replace something in maths, you put it in brackets. Take your time now. Everyone in the pink brackets gets multiplied by positive 5. Yes, this positive belongs to the 5. Take your time, multiply out the brackets, and solve for S. So we have 8s, and we're going to multiply everyone inside here by 5. Now, I need my calculator here. 5 multiplied by 0.6 is, I'm going to double check this. 5 multiplied by 0.6 is 3. Positive 5 by this is negative. So you're going to get negative 3. 5 multiplied by 2.4 is 12. Don't forget to put back the letter S. So 5 by 2.4 is 12. And a positive multiplied by a negative is a negative. Is equal to minus 4.5, right? Don't let the decimals get to you, and you all have calculators. Everyone inside here just got multiplied by 5. It's just some people may have the signs wrong. Positive by a minus is a minus. A positive by another minus is a minus. Keep everybody with S on one side. Who doesn't have an S? The minus 3. So we throw him across. When you throw across minus 3, you'll get positive 3. Add up the 8 and the minus 12. 8 minus 12 is minus 4s. Minus 4.5 plus 3 is minus 1.5. I know the decimals is scaring some people, but let me do back that slowly for you guys. When you reach over here, remember, we're trying to solve for s. So you want to keep s on one side and everyone else on the other side. The minus 3 does not have an s. Throw across minus 3, we'll get positive 3. I'm adding up the two s's. 8s minus 12s. You can try it on your calculator. Is minus 4s. Minus 4.5 plus 3 is minus 1.5. Let's solve for s. This minus 4 is hugging up the s. So when we throw him across, he becomes a divide. Remember, he will remain as minus 4. So what we will get? When you divide 2 minus, you're going to get a positive. 1.5 divided by 4, we're going to get 0.375. How much people? No, I want you to keep the full. Now remember, this is the same thing as 3/8. You see, when you get things like 1/8 or 3/8 or 5/8, keep all 3 decimal places, because those are popular fractions. Those are fractions that you meet since primary school, right? So do not round it off to 0.38. That does get teachers a little bit annoyed. It does get me annoyed, right? So you want to keep the person correcting your paper happy. How much people at least have up to there? The value for S is positive 0.375. If you didn't, not a problem. Like, nobody raising their hands about it. That is okay. That is okay. If you didn't get it, just don't let it bother you. You just figured out what you do wrong. Take a minute, figure it out, and then complete the question. Run back to equation 3 and replace what? S with 0.375. Question. We go to equation 3. We have u is equal to 0.6 minus 2.4 and the letter s here. Remember, we just figured out s is 0.375. So I throw away the s and in brackets I replace it with positive 0.375. We have to multiply the 2.4 by the 0.375 first and then minus that answer from the minus 0.6. So u is equal to 0.6. Let me multiply 2.4 by the 0.375. 2.4 multiplied by 0.375 is, I'm double checking it, 2.4 multiplied by 0.375. Anybody getting a real nice number? 0.9. That means u is minus 0.6 minus 0.9 is minus 1.5. The final answer is minus 1.5 for u. But the first one will be u. I'm just calling it u. And the next one will be 0.375y. Not y, s, sorry. This one was a little bit harder, but even though it was a little bit harder, it was the same concept. It's just you have to be able to switch between letters. You can't only be doing questions with X and Y. And you can't only be doing questions with whole numbers. It must have what? Decimals. You gotta get accustomed with it. Right? Right. Oh no, unfortunately, guys, you have a next question to try before we move on with the story. Y'all are probably rolling your. Oh no, it's 10 to the 7. Class is almost finished. All right. Don't take down this as yet. Don't take down this as yet, right? I know some of you all probably want I didn't realize so much time passed, right? We'll do this question next week for sure. But don't leave yet, huh? Don't leave. I want to give you all some stuff here. Right?
After narrowly escaping the dragon, the soldiers set up camp under the shadow of the trees. Tension simmers beneath the surface, especially from one of the knights, Lord Ritter, whose eyes rarely leave Gibby. He's deeply suspicious, having never seen the boy before, and Gibby's sudden, unexplained arrival in Moonfell is a mystery he's determined to unravel.
Right, so that's Lord Ritter there. He'll be in all the stories, right, with his red beard. He's one of the leaders of the knights. Meet Gum Gum, right? So Gum Gum suggests that they not talk in front of the med and they go to a private area, right, to talk about such sensitive matters.
Lord Ritter, heeding Gum Gum's advice, dragged Gibby to the base of the hill for questioning. But when Gibby drew his sword, Ritter's temper flared. He saw it as an act of defiance. What he didn't see was the danger behind him. Silent and swift, Gum Gum crept forward, dagger in hand, ready to strike. In a heartbeat, Gibby acted, knocking Gum Gum off the hill and saving Ritter from a deadly betrayal.
So it seemed Gum Gum, that's the guy in the black cloak there, had ulterior motives. He was sent to assassinate Lord Ritter, but it's a good thing Gibby was there. That's Gum Gum running towards Lord Ritter. Gibby jumps into action and hits Gum Gum off the cliff. But Gum Gum has magical powers. He didn't die. He turned into a crow. Of course, that will be explained later on, like why he could do such things like that. So he says he'll be back. And of course, he'll be back for Gibby also. I'm just giving you all the end of the story, right? Don't worry about this. Let's have some fun, right? And I want to give you all some homework also.
Lord Ritter escorted Gibby back to camp, his pride tempered by gratitude. He offered a rare thanks for saving his life, but his tone soon turned grave. Though he owed Gibby a debt, Ritter warned that the king may not be so forgiving. In a kingdom on edge, trusting a stranger could tip the balance between survival and ruin, and the crown did not take chances lightly.
Right, so Lord Ritter is grateful, and you're putting a good word for Gibby, right? when he reaches the Red Kingdom. Right, I have some homework for you guys, huh? Don't leave us yet, right? I just want to show you all the end of the story.
The next morning, the soldiers, Gibby among them, rode toward the Red Kingdom. Its castle loomed in the distance, towering and majestic, a sight that stole his breath. For the first time in what felt like forever, Gibby felt the stirrings of hope, like maybe, just maybe, life was worth living again. Second chances, he remembered, are like whispers, soft, fleeting, and if you're not listening closely, they are lost to the wind.
All right. So, right. So I want you all to take down and have some homework after this. That's bare.
Meanwhile, Gom Gom flies back to the shadowy depths of the Bloodwing Caves, his pride as battered as his body. There, in the flickering torchlight, he delivered the grim news to Scarlet Bloodwing. He had failed to kill Lord Ritter. Her eyes burned with fury, and the air grew colder with the promise of vengeance.
All right. So I want you all to take down the homework here. Right? I hope you all enjoy the story. Take down these 4 questions. They come with answers, right? It's just for practice, right? You don't have to get all correct, right? You're just going to try your best to get it out, right? In the first one, right? You know how usually I tell you to make X the subject? I'm going to circle which one I want you to make the subject. So for each one, for question A, I want you to make Y the subject. I'm circling which letter to make the subject to make life easier for you. Right? If you get like a decimal, like 0.125, like or 0.375 or 0.875, use all the decimals, huh? Right? The questions are a little bit difficult. You mightn't be able to get out all, right? But if it have 4 questions on the screen, and you could just get out 2 out of those 4, take it as a win, okay? Next week in class, I will revise simultaneous equations at the end of class, but I want to start quadratics next week, okay? So guys, I hope you at least picked up something today, right? I really, really hope you at least picked up something today. And of course, watch back the video, write down the questions on blank paper, and see if you can do back the same questions in class. Also, we have Spanish class at 10:30, 11:30. Miss says everyone is invited. It's a Form 1, 2, and 3 class, but Form 4s and Form 5s and adults can still attend. Come and do back the basics, right? Miss says everyone is invited. So guys, when you finish writing down the questions, you're free to leave. And of course, thanks for coming to class. And if you know anybody who wants to join the program, we have tons of space. You all know my number by now, but I'm still going to put it on the screen. Tell them WhatsApp me and say fish. Once you say fish in your WhatsApp message, your friends and family and classmates can join the program. You will get all the links. Thanks a lot, guys. And thanks for coming to